Hey there, welcome back to SharePoint TV. My name is Fritz, and we've got two guests joining us. And why don't you introduce yourselves, fellas?
Sure. My name is Bourdages. I work in the SharePoint team on migration specifically.
Awesome. And my name is Hani Loza. I'm a principal PM manager in the SharePoint and OneDrive, and I'm responsible for the migration team as well.
Migrations, that's a big deal, right? Can we talk about migrations here for a second? This isn't like, this is migrating things from on-prem to Office
Correct.
365.
So we know we have a lot of version of SharePoint on-prem out there right now, and a lot of customers are seeing the benefits of going to the cloud. So we're trying to empower them to bring their content with them on their journey to the cloud. So that's why we started doing this tool that is free for anyone who has O365 license. So basically, all you have to do is have a license for your SharePoint Online tenant. You can sign in the tool and get going. So really, we wanted to make sure that when you move your content, it's not just the file and folders. People have built sites, have built like web parts and connection and lists with custom
There's so much customization out there.
There's a lot of customization, and we think also about taxonomy, which is for large enterprises very important to preserve all of that. So we wanted to bring a tool that allows them to bring that content over. Hani, you want to start doing a demo of what it looks like?
Sure. I just want to add for the introduction of the tool, it's today the tool supports migration from file share as well as from SharePoint 2013 on-prem, and you can migrate your content to OneDrive, SharePoint, or Microsoft Teams. So
great. Oh my gosh, I like seeing that you can hit the entire breadth of all the services in one tool. That's neat.
Absolutely. Our goal is to help you drive adoption and engagement in these services in SPO.
Cool. All right, so there we go. We can see that's welcome to the SharePoint migration tool.
Yes.
All right.
So let me take you through a quick demo of what the tool is. Notice that end of last year, we actually did a major overhaul to the UI of the tool. So now all the components is in line with the admin experience and the SharePoint experience, so it's kind of seamless. If we're migrating to SharePoint Online, we want your tool to look as great. So let's first start our first migration.
Okay.
And the first thing that the tool is gonna ask you is to pick the source to migrate from. So we migrate from SharePoint on-prem. Also, you can have your content on file share. And then we support bulk migration by providing multiple sites or folders in a CSV or a JSON, and you upload that through the tool, and the tool is going to do it in bulk for you.
Nice.
In this case, let me pick SharePoint server as the place we're going to migrate from.
That source location.
Exactly. So first thing I need to specify is the URL to the site that I want to migrate. But before I do that, actually, let me show you that site that I'm planning to migrate.
Our source site, okay.
Exactly. So this is, yes, this is my 2013 team site. As you can see here, this site has my document library on the home page, has my documents that I interact with. Also, that site has 3 sub-sites under it. And notice the navigation on my left nav, I have this page called Sales by State. I put that on my nav bar because I always want to easily access that particular page. And I have a couple of lists as well that I have in there. If I take a look at Sales by State, the page that I created, notice that I have 3 web parts. One is the filter web part, and then the 2 list web parts on the page.
Okay.
And I connected the filter web part. Basically, I want to pick the state that I want to get more information about, and this filter web part is connected to the sales target list, and you see the list filters. Just to look a little bit at the different lists, those are simple custom lists, but sales target has taxonomy terms already identified and added to the columns. And this other list, sales event planning, I have different content types that I did for the list, and I'm using these content types for some of my list items. So that's kind of my collaboration site, and I believe that's a traditional collaboration site experience.
Sure.
And that's what I want to migrate to SharePoint Online. So let me go back to my tool, and I'm going to put the URL to that site that I'm planning to migrate. And the first thing the tool is going to do is going to check whether I have permissions to connect to this site and everything is set up correctly. I have the option to include all the sub-sites. Remember, I have 3 sub-sites to that.
Right.
So I can decide to just migrate the root site collection or include all the sub-sites. For this scenario, I'm going to include all the sub-sites. Next, I can select exactly what is the content that I want to migrate. By default, we now support migrating everything, your lists, your libraries, your pages, and web parts. But I can come down and select a specific list or document library to migrate. So again, for this demo, we're going to select the entire site, and I'm going to click Next.
And by the way, you mentioned about the permission. I want to be clear. You don't need to be the tenant admin of your whole organization to use the tool. All you need to do is the administrator of your own team site. So if I had my own little team with 4 employees and I had a team site going, I could migrate my own team site on my own.
That's awesome.
All right. Okay.
So now that I specified my source, next I need to specify the destination. What's the target site that holds all of my content? So notice by default, the tool knows who I signed in as, so it puts the URL, and by default use the same name as my on-prem site name.
Sure.
So Northwest Sales, and I can decide whether I want to keep that name or give it a different name. The tool quickly checks and say if I have permission or not, and also if that site exists or not. In this particular case, the tool tells me the site exists and the content is going to move to that site. But I want to create actually a different container for that. So I'm going to say SharePoint TV. I'm just going to add that to the end. And again, the tool is going to do a simple check to make sure everything is fine, and then it will tell me, hey, this site will be created for you. It doesn't exist. I say, okay, sounds good. I don't need to create the site beforehand. The tool is going to take care of that for me. And again, simplifying my migration process, less manual step I need to do. I'm happy with that, so I'm going to click Next. And again, the tool is trying to make sure everything is fine, and I get this screen to review my migration. I can give my migration a friendly name so I can refer to it later. I can review my source and my destination target and make sure that this is good. I can come back and add other sources, whether different sites or other content from file share. So I can continue adding that and have multiple tasks. For this demo, I'll keep it simple, and I'm happy with what I have right now. I'm going to click Next. Now I'm presented to select the settings for my migration. It's a simple tool, but we give you very powerful settings that you can change in order to do what you really want to do. I want just to highlight a couple. The tool gives you the opportunity to just perform a scanning run only. Basically, it scans the source. It gives a report what can migrate, what can't migrate, without needing to migrate anything.
Just do that test. Tell me what's going to break so I know what I'm going to fix. How much am I really going to have to do after I try to migrate?
Exactly, and this is feedback that we heard from our customers that we'd like, before we start the migration, we want to understand what do we have in our source and make the right plan to get the most ROI. So this is a great way that you can scan without moving any content.
Cool.
Also, you can decide whether you want to preserve permissions or not. And also for SharePoint, because we enable file versions, you can decide whether you want to migrate the versions or just migrate the current version. So again, that has a big impact on how much content that you migrate. And for additional settings, we have a lot of other settings that you can select. I'll just highlight a few. We have this option that you can filter the content that you're planning to migrate based on the created after or modified after. Again, we have a lot of content that is hasn't been touched for a long period of time, and maybe you don't need to spend the time migrating that.
That picture took in 2002.
Yeah,
exactly.
Draw that line. Yeah. These are the only things we want to bring. Okay.
Exactly, and also you have a capability to exclude certain extensions. So if I have video of my dog in the park and things like that, I really don't need to worry about migrating that to the clouds. I need to worry that by myself. So again, very simple options, but give you a lot of power to customize the setting for this migration. I'm happy with the defaults, so I'm going to click migrate, and basically my migration has started. Simple clicks, specifying the source, destination, and the migration is happening. Here, it's kind of my progress report. You've got this simple progress bar that tells me how far is my migration is going. I have a quick understanding of what the tool is doing. In this particular one, again, checking the environments and source and destination. Because the site hasn't been created in the destination, the tool is going to create that for me before it starts any migration. It's going to do a quick scan to make sure everything is in order, and it will give you ideas or progress as migration happens.
Certainly. So, alternatively, though, Hani, you could migrate only the dog videos. I mean, that is okay.
Absolutely. I really value my dog, and I can definitely...
or you move them to your OneDrive specifically, take those pictures that are yours and just move them to your
exactly,
OneDrive.
because it's my...
And then Microsoft Search will help you find those
Yeah.
dog pictures later. See how this works? It's a full service platform here. You can do all those things.
So as you can see now, we're moving into scanning and then start migration. A couple of things I want to point out.
Sure.
That you can, in this view, you can decide to pause for some reason. Say, for example, you want to scale down your migration during business hour or something like that. You can pause it for a certain time and come back and continue the migration.
Sure.
Or you can cancel the migration if you decide that there's a mistake or something like that. So you have the flexibility to do this. So of course, migration is going to take some time. So I want to show you what you get. So remember, this used to be our 2013 site. So now that is what our site is going to look like after migration. Notice that the tool, the SharePoint migration tool, created a modern team site for you.
Yeah.
Again, our goal is to put you on the right steps for modern collaboration. So we create a modern site for you. Notice that my content made it to my document library. We preserved all the top navigation. We migrated all the sub-sites that we have because I specified I want to migrate that. We also preserved your left nav, sales by state.
Yeah.
Remember, I had that. It continues to, we preserved that on the left nav. If I click on it, you're going to see that the page is going to load at one point. Sorry, the Wi-Fi connection is very slow.
Why don't you show us the pages migrated instead?
The page is migrated,
There we
yes.
If you look at just a bit up.
Let's see.
Under newsfeed, here we go. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh,
So here's all the pages that we have. Remember that.
we purposely had a bunch of pages there.
Exactly. So again, we prepared that demo site before. So we have that thing. For some reason, again, it's like any other demo, things go wrong, but
We're live.
we're live.
We're
yeah.
embracing it.
But what I wanted to show you, imagine on this page, if Wi-Fi ever cooperates. Basically, we preserve the page, all the web parts on the page with the layout, the web part connection, and all the web part properties continue to work after migration. We migrate with full fidelity. So as you can see that we've got you in a modern experience and with high fidelity between your source and your destination. So,
But Hani, if I wanted my old classic homepage, what do I do?
Oh, classic homepage. Fantastic. That's a great question, Simon. So by default, we put you in a modern experience. So your homepage by default is the modern homepage, but we also preserve your classic homepage. You can always come back here, right-click on it, and make it your default page, and you'll get back to the existing classic view. So we preserve all your migration.
Cool.
All right?
Very good.
So the interesting part is, so this is 2013, but we have a lot of feedback about customers wanting a migration solution for their 2010. As you know, 2010 is going out of support next year, basically October 2020. So customers have been asking for that.
We're hitting the end. We're hitting the deadline there. You're going to want to get out of 2010. Yeah.
And we just want to tell our customers, we hear you.
Yeah.
So same functionality. This is my very exciting SharePoint 2010 team site. Notice the old UI.
Yeah.
You have the same tool with the same functionality. We're releasing the public preview supporting full site migration out of SharePoint 2010 to SharePoint Online.
Whoa.
Exactly.
All right. There's some applause for that.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Being able to see that that migration right before the end of support means you get your support extended because now you're going to be in O365.
Exactly.
And you're going to get all the durability and reliability of being in the cloud.
Awesome. And look at this experience, like this experience from years and years ago. With a couple of clicks, you end up with this modern experience, again, preserving all your sub-sites, your custom pages. And here's, for example, this a 2010 page with a few web parts. Let's hope the web file operates. Again, I have my web parts, I have my list, I have my taxonomy terms preserved, my content type preserved, the whole 9 yards.
Nice.
So we're very glad to bring this to you right on time to get your migrations
Look at that, we
started.
got a couple folks clapping there in the chat room, a big kapow, they're happy. Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Big ta-da for that. We like seeing that. And right, this is that continuing story that we have across Microsoft. Not just SharePoint, not just Teams and Outlook. We want to make sure that folks get great support, they can migrate forward, continue to use modern features, and get into the cloud.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Definitely.
I love it.
Absolutely.
And
So, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, and we're continuously improving the tool. So when you're going to install it, you have the choice of either choosing a public preview or the GA capability. So I wanted to mention for the 2010, anybody who wants to start using 2010 within next week, if they download the public preview, that's where you're going to get all those functionalities. So make sure to be on the latest and try our functionality as they roll out.
Do we have a link we can drop in chat for folks
yes.
to get the tool?
Glad you
so
asked.
if they go on aka.ms/SPMT, which is the SharePoint migration tool, basically you're going to be prompted with two different URLs. One is going to be install the current release, or the second one is going to be install the public preview.
Okay.
So as soon as you install the public preview, we can push updates to you. Within a week, you're going to get the 2010 capability, as well as any other improvement that we might do in the future. So definitely try it out, and if the feature is not there and you want to see something, actually we highly recommend, and we keep looking at user voice for the migration specifically. There's an area in user voice for that.
Okay.
And we look at the feature requests, and we continuously try to make sure we address those.
Terrific.
And I would love to add that a reminder that we also have the assessment tool, the SharePoint migration assessment tool. Now you can use both tools to complement each other. Start with the SharePoint assessment tool to run it on 2010 and 2013. Understand what kind of content that you have and what sites are ready to migrate and what remediation that you need to take. Once you have that and you generate your migration plan, take that and start using SharePoint migration tool to actually migrate your sites and get started with the cloud.
That's great. Oh my gosh, I'm thrilled to see that, and great update capabilities to get folks up and running with the new features.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much. Are there things that folks should be looking forward to besides getting that preview installed? Should folks be looking for some more things between now and Ignite?
So we're continuously improving the tool. Like we said, there's smaller functionality that we hear feedback and we constantly add. One that we're actively working on is just the ability to select a subfolder as a destination, because sometimes the data you wanted to move, you might want to move it in a subfolder, not at the root level.
Okay.
So the tool can do it. You can do it through JSON or CSV already.
Okay.
So we're constantly looking at how we can make it better and more easy for the users to do. The other thing is, longer roadmap is, we did 2010, we did 2013, so the next thing is probably going to be 2016 to come up as a source that we can move.
Sure. Oh, that's great. Well, thank you very much, fellas. This is great. We've got our link there in the chat room so folks can learn more about it. It's been great having you here with us on SharePoint TV. Thank you very much. And hope you stick around. We've got another great guest coming up in just a little bit, and we're going to be talking about using cognitive services with SharePoint. Stay tuned.